someone's still gonna win, and it might be if
I know
half the field, just about half the field is playing badly, with golf, you can easily say, oh, the course must be hard. They're all playing bad. You know what I mean? It all kind of comes back to earth a little bit.
Sergio has been like, I can't wait to leave this place. Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah. And welcome in, everybody, to the show. Divots and Pivots here on a Tuesday night, as always, coming to you live on Twitter, on YouTube. And we're here. We're continuing through our somewhat off season of the golf world. But look, we do have action this week in the PGA. The Fortinet, is that how you say it? But is it the Fortinet? I'm probably saying it wrong.
Fortinet.
Yeah,
Fortinet. And I'm gonna go ahead and early and disagree with you, and we're gonna go ahead and start the show off like that.
There we go.
Because there is no off season. We are right back into it. The Fortinet is just the tip of the iceberg. Max Homa and his mustache are going to try to defend, slightly larger purse. So you got a little heftier field, maybe a little more attention just because of the nature of things, quote unquote, in the state of golf. That's called a tease, Andrew. We're going to talk about the state of golf in a little bit. But also President's Cup is right around the corner. So you got some of the guys who are getting those last licks in, a little bit of tune up for both sides. And then in Chicago at Harvest Farms, which I thought they just made that place up, but I guess the Solheim Cup was there in 2009, and it's had some other small events we'll talk about. But
sounds like a place you can take the family for a corn maze and some pumpkin picking.
You just described a Live Tour golf event, my friend. And then also, listen, don't sleep on the DP World Tour this week.
Yeah.
Like if you caught the video this morning, or you caught me on Facebook or Instagram, I mean, Victor Hovland, Rory McIlroy, Matt Fitzpatrick, Molinari, the good Molinari, they're all making appearances this week, at the Italian Open. So a lot of golf still going on, because also the DP World Tour, they've got something like 8 or 9 events left in their season versus the PGA Tour, which has turned the calendar already to 2023, although it's 2022. Yeah. And then after 2023 and 2024, we're going to be on a calendar year, but we're not there yet. We're here. It's Tuesday night, 8 p.m. live on YouTube, or if you're listening to this tomorrow or any other time in your car.
Yes.
We're super pumped. There is golf this weekend, but before we go any further, I gotta ask you a few questions. A couple statements first. Well, actually, no, we are going to start with a question. Question. First of all, what was that blue drink you were just drinking?
Oh, this is my go-to right here. So it's white rum, it's lemonade, and it's a squeeze of the blueberry Crystal Light, like the liquid flavor mixer, just so nice. And it's just so refreshing. It's the perfect summer drink.
Does it have a name, or did you steal this from somewhere?
So no. So I'm sure there's drinks out there that are somewhat the same: lemonade, blueberry, and rum. That's not exactly out of this world innovative, but I call it a cloudy day because it's not cloudy now, but when you first mix in the blueberry, it just swirls in there like clouds. So yeah, I call it a cloudy day.
Dear God, I hope that audio is on your end and not mine. If you missed what he said, it's a cloudy day. It sounded like that came through an electronic mixer.
Oh, really? You know what? Can you hear a fan in the background? Is that why?
No. I don't know if it's a fan or not. It just sounds like Max Hedberg took over the show. Kids, if you don't know who that is, Max Hedberg or Hedberg, just Google this thing that happened back in the 80s where somebody literally hijacked the television station in Chicago and started pirate broadcasting their own thing. Became like a whole MTV icon back when they used to play music videos. But no, cloudy day, that sounds good. I was going to go with Smurf Shandy. That was the name I was going to give it because it looks like Smurf and it sounds like Shandy. I don't drink Shandy. I had once and it was a little too sweet. Bourbon. We're drinking bourbon for the pod juice today. New England Barrel Company straight bourbon whiskey. They're small batch. They are out of Dover, New Hampshire. So maybe Divots and Pivots will have to go do a little tour of the brewery. Got to do it for brewery. It's not a brewery.
Come on, they're not going to let you in now.
Get out of here. Get out of here and come back in with a good attitude and a better voice.
No, we're just gonna start the show over. Hold on. Just kidding. But no, it is a tasty drink. And look, I know it's not the only lemonade blueberry kind of rum drink out there, because there are a few very specific drink companies that I've seen with those mixers that you can get in pre-mixed cans. More to come on that in the future as I try some of those. But yeah, so I know it's out there, but I like the way I make it.
That's fair. That's fair. We got to work on your audio.
So, you know what, my internet signal has been rough.
Thank you, Britton.
today.
I appreciate it. If you see anything that makes you think our audio does, if I'm the only one hearing this, somebody be like, Bud, let it go. He's fine. But it's getting him. While you're doing that, real quick, I said that I was going to start with a statement and then a question, but my statement, and then I was interrupted by your blue Smurf drink that we're calling Cloudy Day. I like that.
Is that better?
Not even close.
So it wasn't
but
the fan. Jesus.
Okay. No, I think it's your internet connection.
I think it is. It's been off and on all day, so I do apologize to the listeners.
Speaking of listening, if you are listening right now, then you found us on podcasts, which means you found us on Spotify or we are on Apple Podcasts. Been a while. That was a good little sound effect. We got to time that up again. So we're on Apple Podcasts. That's one big announcement. Another big announcement. We would be remiss if we didn't talk about Piper real quick. Get your balls. You need balls in life. You need balls in golf, and Piper's got you covered on both. And then head on over to Mahler Bros and check out what they've got going on. And when you check out Div Piv, we're talking Live later. Div Piv, 10% off. Let them know we sent you. Better yet, go get a Second Ball All-American shirt.
Yes.
There's nothing that says forgiveness, that says golf, that says America like Second Ball All-American. So go get your Second Ball All-American shirt. They've got them ready to order. Customize it with whatever color you want. Send them to a friend. Stock up on your stocking stuffers early. The question...
And as you talk, I'm gonna bring up a view as you keep talking here of the shirt in case any of our viewers have not seen it yet. They can see exactly what it looks like and get all hyped for it. So as we keep talking, I'm gonna bring that up and share it here in a second.
I've had the phrase "Second Ball All-American" floating around my head since I learned it from a buddy in high school, and really, I can't thank the Mahler brothers enough. And I'm probably butchering the name. They'll correct me one of these days, but the work that they've done and turned this around and make my dream come true, which is, I'm sure what they were saying is, we can't wait to make Bud a happy bear. And they did. So that is who I am toasting my New England bourbon small batch to tonight. And here it is. There's the second ball All-American shirt.
Oh,
if you're listening to this, then you're not missing anything because Andrew accidentally X'd out of it.
I didn't X out of it. I tried to zoom into it because my internet
get
is fun
that
today.
Get that red one up there.
The red one. That's what you.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. It comes in black, red, white, navy, and gray. They're all the colors you can get in. Look, they're sharp. You get the logo on the front, and then as Bud said, the Second Ball All-American on the back with a fancy golf ball trophy design. Absolute fantastic work by Mahler Bros. So once again, huge shout out to them. We can't wait to everything that we got coming in the future with you guys. If you're out there listening, which I know you are because you're in our comments right now. So love to hear that. And yes, you nailed it, Josh. The new hat. I am wearing the new Mahler Brothers hat right now.
Thank you. That was my next point.
And let me tell you right now, this is the exact type of hat that I love the way it fits. I'll show you right now. I love the flexibility of the front of the hat. I love when it's not just like stiff and straight up because I don't have the forehead for that. I got a small forehead. I can't wear the hats that are nice stiff front. So this is the perfect hat for me. I love it. Go get yourself one on mahlerbros.com. They have a bunch of different color designs, so definitely check that out. And as Bud said, DivPiv, DIVPIV, 10% off.
Good thing we like to talk about golf because slinging merch is not our forte, but we have to give respect and thanks and gratis where it is due and sincerely appreciated. So Piper, Mahler Bros, Fantasy National. Listen, Fantasy National had the Fortinet. They were ready. They turned the page and they've got the players on there. You can check them out. We might dive into that a little bit later if we have enough time left over after getting through all the I'm not gonna say anything mean just yet. All the stuff that Andrew has strong feelings about.
We'll call it the chaos. The chaos is in the title of the episode, so we can call it chaos for now.
I agree. But before we even do that, you were chirping proudly, and I can't do anything but say tip of the hat to you. You did well this last weekend in DFS football. In my premiere in this is such a great. In my premiere under the Northfield lights, I gotta say it was 28-3, and I didn't make it. Like I was sitting there, and Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley right at the end. I needed 2 points. 2 points after Barkley gets the 2-point conversion. So, so you know where I was sitting before when they decided to get cute instead of give it to him again. And then earlier, but I think my biggest weakness was I tried to get cute and I tried to go from the gut. You know, I know what I'm doing. And I ended up with $1,500 in my hand and 2 empty roster spots. And that's when I was like, all right, I went straight to that. I went straight to in the league that I'm in. We use FanDuel. I use the Pick Guru.
Yep.
Hey, you know,
hey, look, it works sometimes. I wouldn't make my whole lineup using the Pick Guru, but if you use that and kind of cycle through every now and then, it's a good place to find some value guys that you wouldn't have thought of.
That's where I was getting at. Is I almost ended up with everything that. What do you need? We got a guest coming in. No, it's fine. Go and grab whatever you need. Yeah. You're not on camera. Trust me. But that's exactly what I noticed it was phenomenal for the value picks. I almost ended up with pretty much everybody I thought I was going to end up with on the front end. Obviously I had to make a couple of sacrifices. Otherwise the math would have added up the first time, but I did kind of end up going with the value picks from the guru, and it did me all right. So there are questions that I have for you, and I can't tell if this is going to be great. This is wonderful television right now, because I can't tell if Andrew is frozen and I'm just sitting here by myself, which I'm fine. I've got you to keep me company, and that's all we need in the world is each other. But once he comes back live, we will dig into my first swing, pun intended, at fantasy, kind of taking it a little more seriously than rolling over on Sunday morning and just kind of getting in a lineup just so you're not the jackass who held up the league for the week. I think I kind of went south when Hunter Renfrow made a prominent appearance, and he was kind of getting overshadowed, and I don't think he's going to see the kind of looks that he saw last year and any kind of year before that. So when Andrew gets back, we will pivot straight back into the DFS football world just for a couple minutes. I need him to tell me what to do from start to finish, just a little bit. I just need a little direction. It's all I needed in golf. And I love the phrase I use. I'm going to use it again. I dusted his ass. And I can say that because he's not in the studio right now. So when he gets back, we will talk a little bit about the DFS football kind of 101 as teased. But if you didn't get it yet, go to Belly Up Media, go to Belly Up Sports, go to their website and find Andrew's latest link or latest article about the Live experience. Homeboy has got some thoughts about Live, and he's stolen he used to say, "What slice and bud?" And he decided, forget that. I have feelings too, damn it. And he decided he was going to put them on paper. I'm glad he did. I know that there's people on the internet are glad he did, but it's fair because he points out some pertinent points and then a simple solution that he naively puts out there to say, can't we all just get along? But he's not wrong. So back with us now finally is the beautiful face and the dulcet tones of Mr. LeDuc. Thanks for joining us again. I was just talking about Fantasy 101.
Okay. So first of all, what was the last thing you heard me say? And because I lost yours. I stopped hearing you the second you said, "What do you need?" looking off camera.
All right. Well, then let's start here. Setting up my lineup this week, where do you start? Like, what are the factors that when you go to set a weekly DFS lineup? Let me get like 2 or 3 kind of questions out there at the same time, because nothing's easy with me.
While you do that, I'm going to pull up DraftKings.
Are there certain things that you're like, this is week to week, you're always going to start here? Or does it change every week? Are there certain factors that you might look at the schedule and the matchups first, or are there certain positions that you go after first? Like, walk me through kind of how you would tell an 8th grader who's never done this, although 8th graders probably have better experience than I do right now. But a small child, how would you teach them just like, all right, you're going to set a lineup, Junior. This is where you start.
So for my process, the way I do it is I usually start actually by trying to find a value tight end and a value defense, because when it comes to playing out my money, those are the two positions that are um, drastically different from the price of all the other positions. So your quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers are generally in a similar range of top end pricing to mid tier pricing. Your defense's top tier is like 4,100, which is like very low tier for all the other positions. So when I'm looking, it's just for my own process. It doesn't really change how you can get to the same endpoint whether you start with them or not. I like to start with getting some value in both of those positions so that I can then really have a sense of how much I can load up across the board in the other positions. And then I typically go either one value running back, one value receiver, or I'll do two value receivers. So then I can do a top end wide receiver, top end running back, and I try to stack it with a quarterback somewhere along the lines.
So you are two follow-ups. You are a fan of stacking. I saw that term out there.
Yes.
In other words, okay, you are a fan of stacking.
You
got to try to find a little leverage everywhere you can.
So you don't need to stack to win or to win big, but if you just think about the odds, if you can correctly pick the game that is going to have the most points from both offenses, and you can stack one of those offenses with a quarterback, a wide receiver, and a tight end, or even just a quarterback and a wide receiver, and then you run it back with a wide receiver from the other team that they're facing, then you're just like, from a logical standpoint, your odds are going up of scoring maximum amount of points there, because if you have a good feeling that this game is going to be, a 40 to 30 kind of game where both teams are going to get like 3 or 4 touchdowns, you're going to have good odds of, between your quarterback and those two receivers and possibly a tight end, if you did a double stack, then you're going to have a good chance of having, 4 touchdowns on your team at minimum.
And so, okay, perfect. And then also my question about the tight end, you keep referencing this value tight end,
sure.
And this is a two-parter. A, does value mean a specific price range? Like, are you saying, listen, I'm not paying any more than X for a tight end?
So, I mean, I typically don't go top end tight end unless the matchup is just like too in the situation is just too like undoubtedly like this guy is gonna like say everyone was hurt except for Travis Kelce. He's probably gonna go for 100 yards and a touchdown, maybe 2 touchdowns. Like, then it's worth it. But for me to spend top tier money at the tight end position when any given week, especially at the tight end position, someone who only costs like 2,500 comes out of nowhere and scores a touchdown. And when you're only paying 2,500 for someone, they only need a couple catches, like 30 yards and a touchdown to pay off their price. Sometimes they don't even need a touchdown if they get enough catches to pay off their price. So
I've always been scared of going that low for a position player, even though it is a tight end.
See, but that's the thing. At tight end, it's so each week it's just all over the place.
So in the era of Gronk, when he was being priced up in the, all of a sudden Gronk, Travis Kelce every once in a blue moon, is that just cheese? Is that like, don't take the bait, don't go up there? There's unless you're going to stack them again, Gronk, Tom Brady, and you have one of those games where Gronk gets 2 touches and 100 yards.
So if I end up doing that, I will. If I go top end tight end, it's usually because I'm doing a stack with that tight end. But then a lot of times, what I do is if I am going a stack including the tight end in it, and that tight end is a top 3 or 4 price tight end, I'll actually run it back in my flex spot with a second tight end at really cheap money, so that then I can have like 3 top tier.
So I guess that was I was about to say, is there ever a time where you're like, that tight end, I'm going to have 2 tight ends because one of them is going to be my flex this week?
Double tight end can work. It doesn't always work, but in the last couple of years, it's been something that has gone to, been gone to a couple times to win some tournaments, and I'm not opposed to double tight end.
No, I mean, you look at some of the wide receivers are getting stronger and bigger, and tight ends are getting leaner and faster. It is almost kind of like that in the defensive side of the ball, the whole nickel back. But a nickel back being that hybrid linebacker.
Look at this photograph.
Oh God.
Sorry.
You know what though? They've sold 50, 70 million albums or whatever it is.
Yeah, I can't be shitting on them, whatever.
No, but it's fun. It's just fun. I'm sure they're good sports about it. No, but back to what I was saying. So the tight end, I think, is going to keep trending that way. I think of a kid coming out. I say kid. grown ass man. The Georgia tight end, University of Georgia, Darnell Washington. This guy is just stupid. He's like 6'3", 6'4", 260, hurdling guys.
Yeah.
And that's what people are saying is like that's the tight end of the future, because yeah, sure, he can sit there and block on the goal line, or he can go out wide and run a go route and actually, you know, maybe have a shot at it. So I like saying go route as if I played football. Never a down in my life. People are probably listening to this right now being like, yes, kids. And also they play 4 quarters. You know what? I'm new to it. I've always been a fan, but from this analytical side of things, your boy's a rook. But where I'm not a rookie. All right, so I'm going to keep you updated next week.
Yes,
you said you won big. Shouts to you.
So I wouldn't
Congratulations.
look. It's not.
Tell me
It's
a little
big
bit more
for
of
me.
that.
It's big for me, but in the world of DFS, it's not exactly big. But I did win a couple $100, so I will take that. And look, so when it broke down, because I was playing, I played
Now a
some
couple
bets.
$100 straight profit, or you're saying a couple $100 in winnings?
A couple $100 winnings. Like once
All
I
right.
factor out what I spent.
So that's profit. Got it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Well, okay. I see what you're saying. I did do it backwards. You're right. Anyways,
Ipso facto, I'm your boss.
that was across all the formats. So when it came to just like the DFS lineups that I played, where I'm putting together position players, that I broke even on it, like that almost down to the cents. I think maybe I technically lost like 20 cents on that, but it was like almost to the cent. I broke even on that. And then the rest of my winnings came from a couple parlay bets and one of the DK pools on DK Sportsbook. So that was it was, and you know what? I wasn't expecting to do good in that pool. I actually forgot that I had entered the pool that I entered, and I woke up on in the middle of the night on Monday, and just looked at my phone and went, "Oh wait, where did this couple $100 come from in my account? What happened here?" So I'm looking through. I'm like, no, I didn't win it on my lineups. No, I didn't win it on any bets. And then I remember, wait a minute, I did a pool, and sure enough, I got like 8 out of 9 questions right on the Sunday Night Football pool on DraftKings. If I had gotten 9 right, I would have won $3,000, which would have been fantastic. But I got 8 out of 9 right, so whatever. But
I think
good weekend.
Speaking of the weekend, I think Liv's in for a rude awakening. I didn't know that they had. So early in the season, they did a Thursday, Friday, Saturday event. Boston was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I assumed that was just because it was Labor Day weekend, and they knew that they would have. Now they're going Friday, Saturday, Sunday again for Chicago this weekend, 16, 17, and 18. And I will say DJ dropping the 60-footer for Eagle on 18. You have your marquee guy winning in front of the biggest crowd so far, and there was hundreds of thousands of people had streamed it and blah, 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 blah. That's great. There's a massive factor that's getting introduced this weekend. To the overall conversation about it, we're talking about, they're saying that's fine. It's a product launch year, and that's fine. We just want to get it out there. And
They've
I think
been very clear about that.
But you see where even the PGA Tour decided we're not going up against the beast. You know, the Waste Management is going to end on a Saturday again this year, so that the Super Bowl can be on Sunday, and they stopped. You know, I think that's one. No, it's not the Waste Management. Farmers anyway.
Oh yeah,
one
Farmers.
Of those.
That's the right. Yeah,
they're ending. Yeah, they're going to do a Saturday ending again, just so they can not mess around with the NFL, which I think is smart.
Yep.
But if let's say, so it's Saturday and you're going to be watching golf, because you had some strong feelings about just golf in general. So I am going to put a truth gun to your head and say it's loaded. You have to watch golf this weekend, and you can only watch one. What are you watching from the aforementioned golf that's out there to chew on? DP World Tour, Live, PGA Tour, and why?
So unfortunately, this weekend, out of all 3 of them, this weekend I'm probably putting PGA third out of the 3 of them, just because of the fields that are involved in the other 2. Because like you alluded to before the show, the DP event this weekend or this week is nothing to sneeze at. You got some big name guys out there. You got Rory teaming up. Like that's gonna be another event. And look, we saw Shane Lowry come out and win this past week at the BMW, and obviously there was a lot of eyes on the BMW for multiple reasons besides just the actual play. But I think that was probably one of the most watched DP World Tour events, I'd say, as far as mainstream went in a while. And there's a lot of big names showing up for these events now. I don't know if it's because they're trying to prove a point, or like you said, maybe they're using some of these events as a warm up for the President's Cup because that is coming up next week. So I think I would put the PGA third on this, and then from a it would probably still be the DP World Tour first, and then Live just from an ease of viewing because Live is still just on YouTube. DP, I believe you're going to be able to see on network television. So from an easy access standpoint, DP would probably edge out Live for that reason only.
So I agree. I think DP World Tour for me is going to be where the foci is, because that's the outside quiet hockey, right? Yes. Outside quiet hockey is exactly what we call it back home.
You have not met Beth yet, Bud, but Beth is one of our fantastic hockey writers and hockey on-screen personalities. Thank you. So she is a fantastic hockey knowledgeable person there.
Your boys, born in DC and then raised everywhere south of that. But everybody in my family's from Michigan. My mom, everybody, huge Red Wings contingency, and in my family. Not me. Haven't planted a flag on any hockey on any hockey fields yet.
Bruins, baby, let's go.
Well, I'll fly. I'll wear the B proudly. But back to what you were saying about the most interesting. Fortinet will have my attention mostly because you're welcome. Fortinet will have my attention mostly because it's here. It's what I know. I'm intrigued by DP World Tour. Live for the lack of ease of accessibility. Although I say that, and every device in my universe has a YouTube app on it. So that kind of level's going to come down, the ease of access. I will say that I went through the Live field, and there was only like 3 or 4 names that I didn't recognize, and that now it's all starting to come into clarity here. Where, yeah, I mean, it is just competition. It kind of is just another opportunity to see, to let these guys have some fun, play something different, attract a new crowd. Obviously the Live Tour is looking for that younger crowd who doesn't want to be out somewhere for 13, 14 hours just to see all their players. They want to show up, have a good time, have a couple drinks, hit the food truck, and maybe stick around for Jason Derulo. I can't believe Jason Derulo.
I saw that announced. He's playing. It was Saturday. He's performing, right? I think he's the final performance on Saturday.
Derulo. Yeah, I think he is.
And so every song in a set is going to start like that because that's just how they all start.
It's kind of like
he needs to remind us of who's singing.
Shout outs. So
yeah, exactly. DJ
you made an allusion earlier to how what's kind of bringing these players out. First of all, the BMW PGA Championship has always kind of big for them in the DP World Tour. They kind of treat it like we do the Memorial or Arnie's Place, so it is kind of a bigger deal, which is why those names come there. Also, it attracts a lot of. It usually will attract a lot of the PGA Tour players because it's normally played at a time where either the tour doesn't have something going on or it's a lighter field event. And to that end, there is some chatter saying it's about time that they just go ahead and co-sanction this the way that they did the Genesis Scottish Open.
Yep.
Pause, because this is where I love Shane Lowry, and 2 things. A, Wikipedia. Somebody get out there and fix that. I went to look him up on Wikipedia to make sure that where he was from. And that picture's not him. It's not real. Yeah. It's kind of like I shaved a couple of years ago, and I don't have the healthy beard like that man does, but I got enough.
I know. I saw you post that picture, and for a second I was confused until I realized what was going on.
I think maybe him and Jason Duffner were separated at birth, but
yes.
Duff Daddy.
Exactly.
But Shane Lowry's smile reminds me of a warm hug. And seeing him and Rory, kind of back there, hey, buddy, we're 1-1 here. That's what Rory said to him. I guess you won 1, I won 1. And Shane, oh, you've won enough, haven't you? Oh, that's gravy. Now, I will say I didn't actually see the comment, but I read the comment that I don't know if it was direct or not, saying, Shane Lowry 1-1 for the good guys. And all I could think was,
I didn't see that. That would have made it into the article if I had.
I know, that's why I brought it up, because I reread your article before because I wanted to see if it was referenced, because I think that's a perfect kind of jumping off point to what the state of things in golf, and the fact that the way it started out, you can't make comments like that and expect us to think you're being cheeky or fun. I think you're being a dick when you say it, because the lines that were drawn on both sides, I will throw some shade at Liv for how brazen that how brazen and unaware you have to be to think that you were just going to get your cake and to eat it too. You know, you got people coming out saying, well, all the changes that Phil wanted, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But Shane, and I know I say Shane like I know him. No, but in reality, it was like one of those things. I think it's unfortunate that is the language or the line kind of being put out there. Pause again. You pointed out that there was some shenanigans earlier at Liv with, you know, and I'm assuming you were referencing Billy Horschel and Ian Poulter on the putting green and the pointing and the gesturing. And which all
is one of those things that got absolutely blown out of proportion on social media with the fans, because the fans blew it out of proportion.
Right. That's why I don't blame them, and I don't blame Shane. What if there is a good-natured behind the scenes? I don't, you know, it does suck some of the things that were said or something like, listen, you told me this. I think that's all personal issues and personal items, because it is coming from limited guys and limited places. And we've already been over the whole thing about, you know, oh, they're just here for the world golf rankings. Yeah. Just like you are. Shut up. Everything, you know,
we talked about that last week a little bit, I think.
So accepting all of that, we have to change our assumptions going into it. And that's why I think I posted last week, you know, well, are we supposed to use the putting mirror or not? Because maybe that's what they were arguing about. He walked up and was like, can you, like, what are you doing with this thing? Because Ian Poulter said, don't believe everything you read. Now I want to leave room in my brain for
if you watch the interaction, Billy Horschel does kind of like, it looks like they came to some sort of, whether it was an agreement or like there was like a laying down of the arms where they weren't out there yelling at each other or about to throw punches or anything.
I mean, it could have been something as simple as like, hey, how's it going, Satan? Now, if you're going to call me Satan, I prefer Rich Satan. Rich Satan is the name now. Yeah. And then it's like, they laugh. And then all of a sudden, how you doing, buddy? Exactly. And I say because if I'm going to save this ship, then I have to become part of it. Yeah. We have to stop going straight for the jugular, wanting the blood. And that's not even just in golf. You have to give people the benefit of the doubt. Don't just go for the most scariest bottom of the barrel presumption. Do yourself a favor, how bad you think it is, force yourself to go, what is the best possible reason for all of this going down? And if you can't think of one, maybe you should pause, because there are very rare instances in this universe where true evil is happening. You can disagree with some people. Again, the business decision point. Yeah. I mean, you know, they don't like that they're making these business decisions because there will be ripple effects, some positive, some negative. I think Padraig Harrington has a point. Yeah. And I think Padraig Harrington, this is so funny that you got Potty Harrington and Shane Lowry winning. But Padraig Harrington came out and he just says, I really hope the majors stay above all this. Like this is business. This is competitive golf. You know, it might even not be fun to watch how it's going on right now, but things like the Ryder Cup and the President Cup, that's a whole different can of worms, because those are officially tied to the organizations that run the PGA Tour events and whatnot.
Yeah, there are some bigger events that could get interesting with all of this.
Go on.
I was just tagging on to your exact point there. The President's Cup, the Ryder Cup, like these are some of the events that bring in there were the events that would bring in, dare I say, like the casual golf fan, because it was a different format. It wasn't exciting. Like it always had a different energy because the players were out there cheering and like high-fiving because it was a team event. It was different form, like, and that's what Live is. Well, kind of, you know what I mean? It's not the exact same, but it brings that different energy level that a lot of casual golf fans and you know, a bad terminology for it, but full-time golf fans have liked about them in the past. Like, and now there's people that there just seems to be a lot of cross lines, and
that should be a shirt. That should be a shirt right there. Full-time golf fan.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
The internet Garcon. The international play, it's gonna be interesting to see the President's Cup, and in a weird way, in a weird way, if the internationals pull this out, I mean, they're 11-1-1. Likelihood of it happening is slim to none. I think Slim just checked out. But if Rudy shows up and goes low for the internationals, it might not be the worst thing for all parties concerned to say, see, it's not going to be the end of the world if we do. That said, that also might be the impetus for them to go, all right, that just proved it. We don't need the live guys. So, I don't know. It
It's
is a
going to
rock
be
and a hard
interesting because
place.
that U.S. lineup is stacked. that thing on paper,
Really,
it looks unbeatable on paper. It really does. Just
so
in comparison to the European lineup, not like it's the most
well, who else? Who
amazing
else are you
group
gonna?
of
Who else are
golfers
you
that have
gonna?
ever
Who else are
existed.
you?
But
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I
yeah,
was gonna
yeah,
say, who
like
else are you comparing it to?
yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, so
No,
here it looks like I'll let you finish your point because then I do want to get into how the college world is now being affected by live, and I
that's
want to
where
talk about that a little. Perfect.
that's where I was going. That's exactly where I was going next because after Chicago, I don't think people are really going to tune in when it's overseas, and I don't think that they might. I think they will tune into the season finale because people will watch a championship of anything. I mean,
Well, the season finale
cornhole's on.
the season finale is in Miami, so
That's what I'm saying. So when it comes
yeah,
back
yeah.
to the States, season finale, big market, big party scene, South Florida. It's going to be
Another Trump course is at Doral.
right. It's going to be it's going to be a scene, and I think people will tune back in then. In the meantime, we're going to be paying attention to football. But when it turns the calendar to next year, that's I guess I just don't know if this has the staying power that it does feel great. It's a live event, but you got to have eyeballs outside the live event. That's the only thing that's going to
Yes.
sustain this thing. And I'm going to be incredibly interested to see if any of the TV networks jump at this. If anyone wants a piece of this action, because they've proven that they can draw a product, but unless they can show numbers that will outrate, I don't know, cornhole championship, why would anybody put it on there?
And that's what they
Again,
are going to
they
need
could
to take the next step.
or YouTube TV. They just go YouTube full time and say,
I don't think it's going to be enough though.
So I guess that's the question: is what is their revenue generating plan? I mean, are they going to try to side ads and sponsors for these events? Is it going to be first of all, they're not coming back to New England. Boo.
Yeah. They will.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time. This is going to sound bad. I'm having a hard time staying interested in them right now, which makes me think, because they're playing in Chicago. Wonderful. They're playing at a place I've never heard of before. Great. They're playing on, all of these things. Boston was here. Boston was live. It was, we were out in the field. It gives that energy. My reaction to them now is kind of like, all right, it's another option. It's another opportunity. It's out there. The players don't really, and I'm a huge golf fan. Like I am that person you're talking about, full-time golf fan. I'm reading about it every day. I'm all that kind of shit. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know. I mean, it's such a waffly weak answer, but I don't know if it's gonna be actually get to that. Last week I'm like, yeah, lives here to stay, lives here. But then,
so here's what I think they've nailed the live experience. When you're there, I think they've nailed the fan experience being at the tournament. And to your point, where I think they are needing work, and which would probably come with some sort of network deal, is the TV and video experience. Because that I think they have a lot of things in place that would be successful to keep people interested. But such as the way the score is shown, and how and the constant action because of the shotgun start. Like I think there's a lot of good things that would work on TV, but because they don't have that set up, and rumors are that Apple TV just said no to them because they said it's all too controversial right now. And that's just a rumor. I haven't had time to. I just saw that like a couple hours ago, so I haven't had time to like validate it. But it's a rumor. But it seemed
you haven't checked your sources over at Apple yet.
But it seemed like it was a pretty like reputable story. You know what I mean? And because you would think, they're on YouTube now. If they're gonna kind of make their way up the streaming platforms like Amazon or Apple TV, seems like it would be the next step. And if they're not gonna be able to get that next step, then yeah, you're kind of right. I'm not sure they're gonna find their way to network TV.
Yeah, that said, Norman also admitted this is even next year's not so much a revenue I mean, this year's the product launch, next year's, kind of like their first full season. And then from there,
fix the tweaks and
and again, money. We keep talking about how money's the big X factor in some of these other failed leagues. And if money really isn't going to run out, then you do have time.
Sure.
They're not going to lose as long as they can keep paying the talent. These guys will keep coming out there and swinging a golf club. They don't care.
Yeah.
Pause. I don't mean that pro golfers don't care.
I know what you mean, though. Yeah.
But I mean, there was nobody watching some of these tee shots that you and I were in front of, and these guys would hit it 25 feet right of the hole and like almost break a club. They're pissed, and it's because they're professionals. They're playing for money. They're not playing for you or me, and they sure as shit aren't playing for any kind of prestige, so to speak of. Because I still think the downfall is the participation trophy aspect. At the end of the day, the kid slamming his club on the ground. I think there should be a cutoff of individual payouts, but you're still eligible for a team payout. If you go 81, 61, and that 61 on Saturday or Sunday on the 54th hole, that gets your team sure, you should get a slice of that pie. But I still have a hard time looking at these guys take home the kid who shot 87 at Boston, and then he turned around the next day and shot 64.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool because that
was fantastic.
Right, or 65, whatever it was. It was like a 22 point
It was
swing.
A complete turnaround, though. Yeah.
22 points, because we have points in golf, not strokes. It's a 22 stroke swing. I was gonna
glaze right past it.
Can't do it. Just like the Spapple platforms that our podcast is on, Spotify and Apple, or just say Spapple like I did.
Spapple.
But there has to be heartache. There has to be pain.
Well,
none of us know what it's like to lose and still get paid out the rear.
Well, what about that? Like, what if they just do something along the lines of, so because of the team format to where the first 2 days it's the top 2 scores count, and then the last day the top 3 scores count. These are 4-person teams. What if at no point in the 3-day tournament your score is counted, you don't get paid?
I like that actually a lot better.
Or you don't qualify for the team, you don't qualify for the team pay or something along those lines. Like maybe you still get a small individual pay, but you don't qualify for the team play. But there's got to be team pay. There's got to be, I feel like, something that stops Pat Perez from making almost $3 million and not ever really.
Why are we shitting on Pat Perez? He's like the one guy who came out and said, "I'm here for the money."
I know.
I'm not. He reminds me of Fat Joey and Friends. I'm not even ashamed.
Maybe it's because he wouldn't look at me when I said hi to him. I don't know.
His eyes are a little close together. He probably was looking at you. You just didn't notice it. I like that idea, though, where you have to post a score in order to get paid. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Liv is probably listening to us right now. Let's be honest. They love it.
Of course they are.
And so they're going to take some of these suggestions because as we've talked about before, they're a small startup and they have that vibe going, so they can make these adjustments. I don't think they're going to fuck with people's money mid-season, but I could see some of these changes coming out.
They fucked with their clothes.
Like, all right, that's true. I could see how this could come out later, and these are the kind of adjustments they make, adding a layer of accountability, adding a layer of heartache and pain. Because I can't empathize or sympathize with somebody who did nothing and walks away with a lot of money. That there is something,
and I agree.
It's not American, damn it.
I agree. That is one of the parts of the Live Tour that I'm like, I wish it wasn't that way. I enjoyed myself out there, and I enjoyed seeing the players enjoying themselves. But there's still some aspects that I'm not fully on board with.
And so now I'm going to pause and just think the rest of this out loud, because obviously when you play the game out mentally, these are the kind of things that they have to do up front to get everybody on board. Yes, we will pay you. We will pay you. We will pay you. Now so think past the 2 or 3 years or 4 years that we've got Phil, DJ, Bryson, etc. The kid that you were just about to reference, I don't even know his name.
It's Puig. It's
Puig. It is Puig. That's right. Not Yasiel Puig.
Is it Daniel Puig or David Puig? I forget. It begins with the first name begins with a D, but the last name is Puig.
All right. So D Puig
from Arizona State.
No relation to Yasiel that we know of. We'll get the I team on that though. So he just decided to say no mas, and he's going to go to Live. He stopped me. You know, he's gonna. I think he's foregoing his senior year, which it's not
He's
unheard
foregoing
of.
his
Jordan,
senior year, yeah.
yeah, and in golf, that's not unheard of. I think Spieth, Justin Thomas, all the guys.
Yeah.
It really is PGA Tour light for them. It's the training grounds. But for him to say it, this is another. He's not the last one. Somebody else did it earlier this year. An Oklahoma State guy as well. Not as well. Sorry, an Oklahoma State guy, but he left as well early.
And Puig has played on, I think it's 2 other live events so far as some sort of exemption to get in. I think he was only paid like $1,000 to play or something like that, is what I read. But yeah, so he's already played on a couple of events, and yeah, now he's going to go full time there. So here's the part that because when I first read that update that was happening, I had like a roller coaster of gut reactions to it.
Take us all through them, please.
And one of them was like, oh, like we nailed it. Like this is exactly what we said was going to happen. Like people were going to, like young guys were going to start coming out and using this as their trampoline kind of tour instead of your Corn Ferries, instead of all, I know there's another one I'm forgetting right now, but
no, Corn Ferries, that's right. Corn Ferries AAA. Then there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I was going to name one more, and I just can't remember it right now. But so we kind of knew that was going to happen, but then I also went to, okay, so this feels like now it's like, early 2000, late 90s NBA, to where guys are just chasing the money and maybe they're not actually ready, and then they maybe fall flat on their face. But then, as you referenced, golfers have been doing that for years, but it's just less talked about because they do kind of go from college to very similar ranks of college with the lower level tours and work their way up. So they're not exactly chasing the money, they're just chasing the scores at that point. And here's what the one thing I kept landing on is, and this might be such a reach, so you might laugh at me, but I had to work through this process in my head. I'm going to work through it here with you now. What I was landing on is that what worries me is that because the money is so enticing, that we may see an influx of young college golfers leave college earlier than we're used to having. Maybe the amount of them that do goes up. And if there becomes no room for them on the PGA Tour, if it doesn't work out because they needed more time on smaller tours, like a lot of guys do, to fine tune their game, I'm worried that they get, maybe burnt out is the wrong word, but discouraged in the world of golf, to where they don't end up following it through to the path that they could have if they went the other route. And it, like I said, this might be a complete reach, but it worries me that maybe 10, 20 years from now, we end up with a lull of younger golfers that aren't up to par to the young golfers that we're used to seeing. Because there's less of them coming through the way that the PGA Tour has them come through. And if the LIV does fall flat on its face, do we end up losing a generation of like potentially top golfers? Like it just feels like it opens up a bit of risk.
Now, I was actually not going to do this at all tonight. I was going to save this for off air, but 2 things. A, no. I don't think I think it is a reach because of the
it is a reach. Spot. I know it is.
No, that's fine. I know you were. I know you were just trying to make like a thought exercise, which I'm glad you did, because it brings me to the point of there's 48 active spots on LIV, which I got a feeling what they'll do is end up introducing something like I said, like a roster where you get 6 members on a team. You just declare your 4 starters each week. And maybe there you go. If you don't get paid, then you get relegated. You have to sit out the next event no matter what. And your team is down to 5 golfers to make a starting lineup. That would be fun. Anyway, because of that, so let's even say it's 6. 6 times 12 is going to carry the 2. So 72 golfers. We'll call it 75 to have 3 all-time alternates just sitting there should, the flu take out half a team. Great. You got 75 golfers.
Yeah.
That's a weekend at a PGA Tour event.
Yes.
There were something like 9,000 people or 11,000 people who tried to qualify for the US Open this year. There is no dearth of talented golfers even at this level. Like when we talk about, there's only a couple hundred guys who can play at this level, and even fewer women I'm just kidding. Who could play at this level? I'm just saying. No, I'm saying there's fewer opportunities. There's fewer tours. We see
I
fewer
get what
of
you were
them.
saying, yeah.
There's just like the game is so small when you get to the higher echelons. Somebody's going to clip that out and be like, "You sexist." I've got to no, absolutely not. Anyway, when you consider that, there still are a lot. So what you just said, 12 guys come out, they forego, they fall flat on their face. Next man up, next person up.
So you're saying that
the game of golf,
some cream will always rise to the top.
1,000,000%. And
I don't disagree with you. Like I said, it was a thought exercise.
No, but here's where it even gets clear. I think in a sport like football, and especially NFL football, that's even a smaller pool of people who can do that. You think about, let's say there was some weird random like conference of the NFL starting quarterbacks. It was something they were going to do. And 70% of these guys got the COVID. They had to sit out for a few games. There are not 15 just you start going down the road. There aren't 15 people who could come out and really kind of actually win. Yeah. Right. There's probably 15 players who come out. There's 15 Brian Hoyers who could come out and say, I can give you 2-3 weeks just to kind of bridge the gap. But like what you're talking about is even easier to find enough golfers who can come out and shoot the kind of scores that it takes under the conditions that now, again, there's only a handful that do it consistently, and that's all the mental game. But to plug in holes, or even when you're talking about a small league with only 70 players, that's not a problem. The live is going to live as long as they've got money. But what you kind of pointed out in your article, and this is what I wanted to get back to when you say, is there going to be this huge shift, this jump? I don't think so. But what's unfortunate is that the stigma is out there because of how it all got rolled out. And now we're looking at, if you do go play over there, you're never allowed to come back here. I give it one more year. I really do. We just saw we're 50 minutes in the show. Cam Smith just got PGA Player of the Year, right? You know, Rory McIlroy or Scotty Scheffler got the Jack Nicklaus Award. Roy McIlroy got the Varden Trophy, and then Cam Smith, you know, as I just said, not everybody gets a trophy. So those are the three greatest golfers on the planet right now. But a live player just got that trophy, and people are like, oh, you know, he should have gotten the Jack Nicklaus Award, but because of politics, it went to Scotty Scheffler. Go F yourself. Scotty Scheffler had one of the greatest runs and seasons that we've seen in a long time. Don't have recency bias.
Yes.
But I think this is going to be the last time we see this kind of walls up. Nobody can ever come back. I think instead what they'll say is you're grown-ups, and you're going to have to make your decisions year by year. Just kind of like, I doubt any teams would allow a soccer player to play in the Premier League and the Bundesliga at the same time, or whatever the hell that thing is. You know what I mean? It's like, if you want to go play there, and then you can do La Liga next year, but you're not going to play on these teams at the exact same time. I think that's what we're going to see. And
that's something Jay Monahan and Greg Norman should have figured out behind closed doors, not in the eyes of the public, not on TV, not on written, like social media. Like, we as fans don't need to know that.
You know, I love that you say that, though.
It's fun for us to know, but we don't need to. It only complicates things in today's world.
Then why does attention, eyeballs, circulation, everything go through the roof when there's a mud fight going on?
Like I said, it's entertaining. It's fun to hear it all, especially for us who talk about golf.
So is it their fault for behaving that way, or is it our fault?
No, that's why in my article,
rewarding it.
That's why in my article I put just as much fault on the fans. I said the fans also are playing a role in how all this is going down, because look, you brought up Cam Smith and getting the Player of the Year award, and there was a whole thing out there going around because somebody edited a picture saying that they've already removed like his parking space or something like that, because it's and changed it for a sign that said for PGA players only or something like that. But then they posted a picture of him standing next to the Lamborghini that both of us also stood by at the Live Boston event, that was right by where the players' locker room, and they were acting like that was his car. He doesn't need a part, like whatever. He like, and that's the con. That he
lost his parking spot at the player at TPC Sawgrass, which I don't blame him for. I don't blame you. I don't blame them for taking.
But where I'm getting at it with the fans here is that that ran on social media. I was seeing those comments, and people were just believing that edited photo. Like, sure, but like the one like with him standing next to the car, and they're using that as ammo to go against each other. like we as fans, what the hell is that gonna do for any of
Don't let me in
us?
with those people. I'm a loving guy. I have no problem. I genuinely have no problem standing above this and saying, same as you, but not, I'm
Yeah.
not lumping myself in with them, because this entire time I've been skeptical but fair. I've been open-minded but
Mhm.
judgmental at times. I continue to say golf is a big tent sport, and I think
Yeah.
that live will continue as long as the money's there. It is going to take a few years to find out what that looks like, what the relationship is with everything else. The majors are going to stand pat. They're going to say, listen, RNA and USGA, I've been saying this for weeks now. They're going to say, we don't need to change anything, because to get into our tournament, it's an open, and so by definition, we're not going to change anything. And
Yeah.
then the PGA of America is going to go, we're not going to change anything either. Just, we're just not going to make any room specifically to say, if you win live, you
Yeah.
get this. Like, basically, they're going to say, live, if you want to play on the live tour, that's your problem when it comes to things like world ranking points or getting into our major. That said, what's to stop live next year to say, all right, PGA championship, live invitational, $100 million purse, 30 to the winner.
You,
I,
I think
I'm
I
dead
think
serious. I think
there'd be a
that's
lot
what
of guys that would jump so fast at that tournament.
I think, especially if it's 54 holes,
Yeah.
$100 million purse. And that's when all of a sudden it's like, well, I mean, that's kind of how the Masters started. Exclusive club. We're only going to invite people we like. And now it becomes this thing. So if Liv says, all right, 30 million. And even if you finish dead last, you're going to guaranteed $1 million. Come on in. We're going to play at this unbelievable golf course in the middle of bumfuck nowhere that you have to take like a helicopter. They're going to make the biggest grand production out of this. And you're going to have guys like Justin Thomas sitting there looking at the big picture. And it's not the money, because at that point, when Rory said you're offering guys with money more money, he was right. But when you offer them those kind of sums that they've never seen before associated with a golf tournament, that's not just money. That is kind of groundbreaking. That is to say, I won this tournament that had the largest purse of any professional golf tournament ever. Those are the little hairs that they're going to start splicing to siphon off. And that is when the PGA Tour is going to be caught in a rock and a hard place to say, like, how can you deny the world's greatest golfers the opportunity? Now I'm being hypocritical here, because I'm using words that I don't even like saying deny. It's all choices that we make. They're not denying them anything. The players can go, there will just be repercussions. I'm just saying good business sense is to leave their brains open to the fact that if you're going to have the best talent in the world, the most marquee players, you can't be selfish with them. You have to give them a chance to go and showcase their skills. We've been doing it for too long. That's how the official DP World Tour PGA Tour relationship probably started, from kind of an unofficial, all right, some of these players are going to go and just kind of play over here. And it was probably no big deal. I get it. When I don't blame the tour for reacting the way they did. They were under threat, big money coming in, and
that's why it said you can't blame them if they felt backed in the corner. They felt attacked for something they had built over 50 plus years. Of course, they're going to react that way, because that's how it was brought to their doorstep. And that's why I put blame on PGA. I put blame on Liv. I put blame on everybody. I
don't put blame on anybody. I say it's time to put the guns down. The dust is settled. Everybody's lobbed their mortars. All the troops have gone where they're going to go. We've resettled the battle lines. I think instead of having World War I and having this be trench warfare for 4 or 5 years, and then we kind of come out where we started, let's skip the 4 or 5 years of bloodshed and hash out some deals in some back rooms. This is, you know what? This is when Cam Smith and Billy Horschel get on a fishing boat and say, all right, this is what my buddies are telling me. What are your buddies telling you? Cool.
Exactly.
This is when DJ, takes his boat, him and Brooksy go out and they meet up with Tiger and somebody else, and they say, let's go have a talk. Some of that's going to keep going. And I think that was what the scuttlebutt was when Rory and Tiger and Tomorrow and TGL and all that was getting let out, was Jay Moynihan is still the commissioner, quote unquote. Tiger is the de facto commissioner of golf right now, of golf, not the PGA Tour, because I think before this is all said and done, I don't think that Tiger was saying, this is what we're doing. I'm going to plant my flag and march on. I think there's going to be some back channeling. He's not going to get involved anymore, but there's going to be people from that camp, from TGL, from Tomorrow Sports, who are saying, what happens? Follow me here. What if we do this? TGL, the Tiger Golf League, which I guarantee that's got to be what it is. It's Tomorrow Golf League, but Tiger Golf League.
We know what it really is.
Right. And, they're going to be, I still have this tickle in my throat from when I was sick the week before Live. So take the team aspect from TGL. We got these 3-person teams, indoor, yada, yada, yada. Play that out. It's supposed to be January to March, and they're going to break for the meat of the PGA season and probably come back in the fall for their little playoffs and their follow-up. Great. Let Live play out through the summer and fall, everything great. Here's what I want. I want the team that wins TGL and the team that wins Live to then go and play a series of matches inside and outside. You do, one back and forth, and that way, and then the winner. Start merging these two again. Take the soccer kind of model where all these major leagues. Isn't there some? I don't know. I know dick about soccer. I know even less about the real football. They're like there's some league where like the best team in the Premier League, the best team in Bundesliga. I just want to say it again. Best team in La Liga. They all play in this. Is that Champions League? I don't freaking know. But anyways, take that model and start applying it to golf. Instead of just say, all right, fair enough. You're going to go play in that tournament, and maybe shut them out of the majors. Maybe you do shut them out of Augusta and PGA to say we made our bones with these tours and these players and these relationships. We're going to hold on to them. You want to win a major, you're going to have to go over to the US Open or the British Open. But if you finish in the top 10 of the US Open, you'll get an invite to Augusta. So that's going to be those backdoor ways in. And I think that's going to where, like when I said before, where nobody's going to change a thing. The PGA is going to say, we're not going to bar you from playing in this, but we're just not opening our doors. You're going to have to earn it through a high position at another major and get exemptions that way.
Which makes sense because, like you said, that's still holding true to their form.
So I do anything, so. I like that you acknowledged that this is all business.
It is,
and I like that you acknowledge that everybody has a right to be pissed off. But I think my favorite part about all this is what you reiterated earlier, which I was trying to display. It's all our fault. If anybody's upset, get over it. I genuinely don't think that there. And I said this before. There are geopolitical, ethical, moral conversations that you can have. Sure. Fine. I don't think there's any room for those factors and variables when talking about how does golf work with these leagues. Because if we start doing that law of transference, then we have to go after everybody. And there's too many tournaments, too many sponsors, too many partners, too many people involved to start vetting everybody and holding them to this kind of purification standard. And that's my own little soapbox moment where I agree with you. Everybody needs to stop being childish. I was about to say babies, but stop being childish about this and accept the realities and stop reading into, I say, stop taking your own personal political bias. And I use small p in political, meaning just things that affect the polity, the people at large. Stop taking that and painting it on other people's actions. Just give them the benefit of the doubt. And that's what we learned going out to Live. And when I sent a message to Hudson to say like, hey man, good luck this week. If you want to chat, he's like, listen, I'd love to chat. Not doing the media thing right now. He's like, I'm just looking at playing golf and spending some time with the family. And then we did have a little bit of a conversation offline and off the record because I respect the hell out of that. Like, yeah, you do you. Start giving people the space that you would want in your own life. None of these people are not, they did choose a public life. You're making that kind of money that is going to come with the territory. But it doesn't give us the right to then say, hey, you went to Live. How dare you stand for X, Y, and Z? Like, dude, until you walk a mile in their shoes, even if they are super expensive, comfy shoes, you still don't understand some of the problems that come along with another person's life situation.
I mean, P. Diddy and Biggie said it perfect. More money, more problems.
Dude, P. Diddy and Biggie. There's some great interviews out there talking about P. Diddy when he had to actually say to people like Biggie, like, dude, this is getting out of hand. We got to back. Anyway, that's gonna be season 2 of Divots and Pivots. The Pivots is gonna be rap stories from the 90s. Bone Thugs and Harmony. Oh, music. I'm glad you went to music because if you've been catching any of our morning videos, I'm
Yes.
dropping a little daily suggestion on something to just get you going, get you a little pep, get you a little something for the day. And next week I will share it. I'm trying to work out a title, and we'll have a playlist together on Spotify. I'll keep adding to it every day, and you can find you'll be able to find the Divots and Pivots Drive Time podcast, is I think or Drive Time playlist is I think what I'm going to call it.
I love it. But hey, time flies when you're having fun talking about golf and fantasy football. That's going to bring us to the end of the show here, to another fantastic Tuesday night. We thank you, as always, for joining us. If you watch us on YouTube, if you watch us on Twitter live, and look, if you're listening to us in these following days on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, or iHeartRadio, any of the other places you get your podcasts, thank you to you as well for the support. We love you. Remember, go check out Piper.golf. Div Piv, DIVPIV, and check out Mala Bros. You can find the link to their website on the on the Divots and Pivots Twitter account at Divots and Pivots. Right there in the bio, you can find the link to their website there. Go check out our new merch there, the Second Ball All-American T-shirt, and then all of their golf shirts. I can't wait for my order to get here. I ordered a ton. I spent so much money, and I loved it because I needed a whole new wardrobe, and I bought a ton of shirts. So they're fantastic shirts. Get over there, check it out as always. Div Piv again, DIVPIV. And look, we will see you guys next week as we get ready for the President's Cup. You know that's going to be a fun time. So come check us out, 8 p.m. Tuesday night. We'll be here. We will see you guys later.